It's that easy. Kitchen recipes.
Menu for today, St. Louis style spare ribs. Summertime is great time for grilling and cooking ribs. Some people's ribs are a hit and some people's ribs get hit. Today we're going to make some ribs that are a hit. Let's get it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be doing St. Louis style dry rub ribs. We're not going to use the 3-2-1 method. Let's get right into it. I always like to get the ribs when you first open them and rinse off any excess from the ribs. So you want a nice clean rib when you start this process. You just lightly pat dry the ribs with a paper towel. Next we'll clean these ribs up, cut some of this fat off. You want to have some fat, but you don't want a lot of fat. It's a lot of flavor in that fat. Next, we want to flip these over, and we're going to also take this area here on the back. And this area here is a lot of excess meat. So you don't want to get rid of this meat. I want to show you what you can do with this meat. We're going to take this piece here. We're going to slice this all the way off. Nice little strip here. I'm going to set this to the side. Also going to get this piece. Now, there's two ways you can get this membrane off. You can use a paper towel. You can use a knife on this area here, and you can lift it up, or sometimes you can find enough on the edge with a paper towel and just get a piece of it and grab it without using a knife. See, I got the whole piece now. You just pull this membrane all the way off. Get a good grip on it. And there you go. Easy way to get rid of that membrane. Okay, next I'm going to fill my sink up about 1/4 of the way to close to half with lukewarm water. Okay, we're going to add about 3/4 cup of apple cider vinegar to this water. And we are going to soak the ribs for about 30 to 45 minutes. And this is going to help tenderize the ribs, and also it'll help infuse more flavor to the ribs. I'm just going to insert the ribs face down with the bone side up. We're going to let those soak for about 30 to 45 minutes tops. We're going to take those additional little pieces of meat that we cut off of the trimmings, and we're going to put those in there too. All right, to make this dry rub, we're going to make a dry rub. You can use whatever rub you like. We're from the store, restaurant, whatever you like is your choice. This is a dry rub that I've been using that I think does really good for these type ribs. 4 tablespoons of coarse kosher salt. 3 tablespoons of coarse pepper. 1/4 cup of paprika, regular or smoked. 2 teaspoons of onion powder. 2 teaspoons of garlic powder. And a 1/2 cup of dark brown sugar.
We will now mix up this rub really good. We will now pull the ribs out and let them drain for a few minutes. You can now pat dry with a paper towel and get ready to add the rub. We're going to apply the rubs to the bottom side of the ribs first. Apply a good amount of rub and massage in very well. Flip the ribs over and repeat the process. Apply heavy amounts of rub because some will drain off during the cooking process. Apply the rub to the smaller strips and massage well.
Before we put the ribs in the grill, we're going to sprinkle a little brown sugar over the top. It's just going to give it some added flavor. Some brown sugar on our strips of meat here. I'm going to set this temp to 190. It's pretty hot out here today. You do have to pay attention that the hotter it is outside, your grill temperature will heat up, especially if your grill is in direct sun and not in any shade. So you have to have about a 10-degree variance to understand the temperature could just be a little hotter. So I'm going to start smoking these at 190, and it'll probably hang around 200, 210 while it's smoking, which is fine.
I'll be using my very own 2-1.5 method. That's 2 hours of smoking, 1 hour full wrap, and a half hour unwrap.
All right, we're now going to put these bad boys on the grill, ready to go. Sitting at about 210 degrees. Got some good smoke going here.
Smoke the first hour at 200 degrees and the second hour at 225.
What we have here is a mopping sauce we're getting ready to make. This is 50% apple juice and 50% vinegar, apple cider vinegar. We're just going to take it and pour it in here. I'm going to now add 1 tablespoon of mustard. Then we're going to add 1 tablespoon of the dry rub seasoning into the mixture. And mix it up really well. It's going to basically take this and just drip mop the ribs as they cook. You could have used a spray bottle. Seasoning will get clogged up in the spray bottle, so I just use this process and it works well. All right, we're on the first 30 minutes here. These are looking really good. We are 1 hour in. It's time to mop up some more sauce on here. I'm gonna put a little bit on our strips, and it's time for the strips to come off. All you're gonna need is about an hour. They cook really fast. And during this process, you can see adding that moisture will lightly dilute some of your seasoning. That's why you go heavy with the seasoning. But when we do the foil wrap, everything is going to be condensed into that foil and nothing will escape. So we're going to smoke them at another hour for 225. We're going to wrap them that third hour.
Now it's time for these tasty rib bites. They make a great appetizer while waiting on your ribs to finish.
All right, it's now time to foil wrap these. It's been 2 hours of smoke. So we're going to put these in foil. We're going to take our slabs and lay them face down. We're going to sprinkle a little more brown sugar in the center. I'm going to take a little more mop sauce and just slap it here. Grab this rack here. Just put it face down. Nice little seal on here. If you don't get a big enough piece like I did the first time, you can just close it up with another piece. Now I'm going to turn the temperature up to 250 and let this next hour go at 250. All right, that's 1 hour on 250. I'm going to unwrap them right now. See how that bone is coming away from that rib? That is what you want. There's a lot of juice coming out of this rib, and I'm going to save that juice. You can redistribute that juice into some sauce, or you can pour it back over the dry rub. Gonna douse it with just a little more rub. We're gonna wet them up one more time for the last 30 minutes. Lightly wet them up. This is dry rub, no sauce. These are really good. All right, we are ready to go. These ribs look superb. The ultimate test to a good rib is the ribs folding. You pick these ribs up in the center and they fall. That's what you want right there. A lazy, flimsy rib. Let's get these off and get them cut. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, these ribs are complete. This is what they should look like when they come off. And this is a 3.5 hour cook. We're gonna now cut into these to see how juicy and tender they are. And they are very tender and very juicy. This is the St. Louis style. That's what you want to see right there. Really good quality rib. There's different ways you can do ribs, but you have to try what works for you. Then you want to pour that juice that we got from the ribs back onto the ribs. There's a lot of flavor and seasoning in there. Once you pour it over there, let it drain off and it'll soak into the meat and give it more flavor. Some people prefer fall off the bone ribs. Myself personally, I don't like fall off the bone ribs. I like my ribs to have a bite to them. And what we mean by that is you take a bite off of it, it comes clean off the bone and the meat comes off the bone easy. It's not tough, but it doesn't just fall off when you pick it up. It's a symbol of what I'm talking about. You take a good bite and the meat comes clean off the bone. You don't have any residue over. Did you know St. Louis style ribs start as the same cut as spare ribs, but instead of leaving the rib section the same size and shape as it normally is, the butcher cuts off the irregular rib tips and cleans up the shape a bit more. The result is a flatter, straighter, rectangular, and a rack of ribs a bit shorter than the standard ribs, but longer than the baby back ribs. The baby in the baby back name comes from the small size, not from the animal's age, unlike veal or other meats that come from a more youthful animal. Baby back is a portion taken from an adult pig. When comparing this type of pork to others, like spare ribs, it takes less time to cook because it's curvier and shorter. Baby back ribs don't need to cook as long because the cut is smaller and the section that rack comes from features more tender meat. Now you know. Well, I hope you enjoyed that St. Louis style smoked rib recipe. I hope your mouth is watering, waiting to try it. Please leave a comment in the comment section after you try it, and don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and turn on your YouTube notifications in the settings menu. Until next time, remember, it's that easy.